Hello, in this video of Maximum Technology, we're going to learn how to make a table view in your own iOS app. So if you're not sure what a table view is, basically, if you think of the app settings on Apple iPhones, that is an entire table view. So they've customized it, they've put sections in it, they've made it super elaborate, and they have dynamic data. We're going to be looking how to do all of that in this video, but we need to start by opening Xcode. So let's do that if that sounds good with you. And the first thing we're going to actually do is, looks like this is being a little weird, so I'm just going to come under Window and say Welcome to Xcode. Now, I'm just going to create a new Xcode project, and I'm going to go under iOS and choose the regular app template. Product name doesn't really matter that much. I'm just going to call it TableView example. So our interface is going to be the storyboard for this. Of course, you can also do it in Swift UI, but for this video, we're going to be working in the storyboard. Our lifecycle will be UI kit app delegate, and our language will be Swift. And let's create it. I'm going to create mine on the desktop. You can do yours, of course, wherever you'd like. Now, let's expand our window and change our simulator. I'm going to be working on the iPhone 12 mini. It's just what I prefer. And so there's two ways to set up a table view. You can do it in code or you can do it in your storyboard. Like I said earlier, we're going to be working in the storyboard. So let's hop over to our main.storyboard and set this up. So the first thing we're going to do is hit this plus icon and search for a table view. Drag this in and let's expand this on our entire screen here. There. And you'll see that it's not filling up there. This is what's called the safe area, and it's not going to let me do that. But we can just apply these constraints down here. And there we go. So this is pinned to the entire width of our view. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is hop over to our view controller and create a IB outlet for our table view. So we're going to say IB outlet var table view, and it's going to be a UI table view. And we're going to force unwrap it because we're connecting it in the storyboard. Let's head back to our storyboard. Right click on here and let's connect that outlet onto our table. Now you can see it's connected. Now what we're going to do is add a table view cell. So those are all the individual cells. Now we're only going to create one. This doesn't mean that you're only going to have one cell. It means you're going to have one type of cell. So if you had multiple prototype cells, they'd generally be different types of cells. For this tutorial, we're just going to create one type of cell, but we are going to give it dynamic data later. So we have our cell. Now we need to give it an identifier. So go ahead and select it and come over here and say the identifier is cell. This can be anything you'd like. Just make sure it's something easy to remember and it relates to whatever you're doing. Now let's jump back into our view controller. And what we're going to do is assign the delegate and data source of our table view. So we're going to say tableview.delegate is equal to self, and tableview.data source is equal to self. Now we're going to get some errors here because we need to create some things in order for these to work. So come down here and say extension. We're going to put an extension on this view controller. Having trouble typing here. There we go. View controller. And this is going to be a UI table view delegate. And go ahead and just create that. Now you can copy this and paste it down here, but change what it is assigning it to a UI table view data source. Now for both of these, we need to assign a minimum of 2 functions for the data source and 1 function for the delegate. The one in the delegate is called didSelect row at index path. Looks about like this, and this function is used when a user clicks on a cell for now, we're just going to say print I was tapped. And down here, we're going to do some more functions. So one of them is number of rows. This is the number of rows we're going to return. For now, let's just return 3. And the other function is cell for row at index path. Now we need to do something slightly different with this. So we're going to say let's cell, which is the cell in our table view, and we're going to set that equal to the table view, and we're going to dequeue a reusable cell with an identifier. That identifier is going to be that same one we set in the storyboard, which was cell, and we're going to say for the index path. Now, if we drop down, we're also going to return the cell. And basically, this is just further setting up our table view and specifically the cell within our table view. Now, the next thing we are going to do is we have no errors. So let's hit Command R here and see what we have so far. Minimal functionality, but a table view at that. So let's give this a chance to load, and then we will work on implementing data into this. All right, so here we are. We have our table view. When we click our cell, we can come in the output and we see the I was tapped string we created in here. And all right, that's looking pretty good. So now data. We could always just come in here and say cell.textLabel.text is equal to, and then we can just set it that way to whatever string we want, and it's going to be that for all of them. It's going to, we see more cells, but since we only return 3, it's only going to fill up 3. We don't want to set the same string for each, though. We want dynamic data. So how the heck do we do that? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. First of all, we're going to come up to this top piece above the view.did load, and we're going to create an array. So we're going to say let foods equal, and we will create an array. I'm only going to have a couple of items here. You might have more, you might have less. It really all depends on what you're doing with your project. But let's just populate this real quick, and then we'll go and implement this down below. So let's just say apples, that's kind of appropriate. Oranges, let's not just do fruit. Let's see, pasta, chicken. Let's see, I can't think of any foods right now. Pork, and let's do one more. Let's do carrot. So now we have our foods, but how do we get it presenting? Because right now it's not going to present anything still. So the first thing we need to fix is right here where we're returning 3. We have more than 3 items. So instead of that, we are going to say return foods.count. It's going to count the foods we have. And in the cell for row function, we're going to say cell.textLabel.text and set that this time equal to foods at index path dot row. What this is doing is taking from our array, it's looking at the specific row, and it's assigning that piece of data to that specific row in our table view. So let's go ahead and do one more thing here. We're going to implement something called number of sections. That's what we're going to look at now. So right up here above the did select arrow, number of sections looks like this, and we were just going to return 1. Now we don't have more than 1 section. I'm not going to really show us how to do that in this video. If you want to know how to do that, let me know, and I will make a future video on it. But for now, just to keep this pretty simple and standard table view tutorial, I am just going to put it as 1. I just wanted to show you the function here. Let's go ahead and rerun this. And there we go. We see all of our data here, and it looks really good. So we still get the UTAP-to-me string on all of these, and we have dynamic data. So that is how you set up a pretty simple table view. If you want to know how to show a view controller when this is clicked, let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!